It's me, Michael, again, and today we're playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the PlayStation 1 on the PlayStation 3. I have the disc, but I decided to use the PlayStation Network version just because I have the original disc, and there's some sound issues with the soundtrack and stuff like that. It's kind of old and stretched up. I played it so many times, and I guess I didn't take as good enough care of it as I should, but I'm pretty careful with the games. So I'm gonna go and assign a slot for this. Slot 1, and I'm probably doing it twice. Okay. Now it should know what card I have. Sorry, I haven't played this in a long time. Let's see. I might do a playthrough of this eventually. Oops. Let's see here. Well, that's my name. This is the sequel to Castlevania Dracula X, or Castlevania Dracula X Rondo of Blood, which you might have saw in our earlier video. So this is the ending of actually Castlevania Dracula X Rondo of Blood, which is on Castlevania Chronicles. This game's also actually hidden on Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles as well. So depending on like what items you get, it actually affects your stat as Alucard. The less stuff you get, the higher your stats are with Alucard, and if you beat Dracula without dying, that actually raises your stats too.
It was not by my hand that I'm once again.
Everybody complains about the voice acting, but I played this game so much, I'm used to hearing these particular actors, so like when I heard the PSP version, it just, when they re-record the voices, it just didn't feel right, especially Alucard. But you know, it's cool to have it on a game, and it's not only on PlayStation 1, it's on PlayStation Network, it's on Xbox Live, and it's also on the PSP version of Dracula X Chronicles, so you have a few options if you want to play this game. There's also a Saturn version with hidden parts of the level. I got as I'm talking. I don't know how well I'm gonna do because I'm talking at the same time. Like when I play video games, I'm usually really quiet. So even though I'm like over 150 videos now, I'm still getting used to trying to talk and play at the same time. Sometimes I just want to record the game and then record commentary afterwards, but that's a whole challenge on its own, because then you got to think about what were you thinking when you played it at that time. And if there's not enough action going on the screen all the time, sometimes it's not the easiest to commentate on. Oh, that sucks. I'm usually better than that. This is probably the easiest Dracula out of all the Castlevanias. At least in my opinion. Oh shit, I'm getting hit really bad. I'm recording this off of a device. Almost feels like there's lag in this controller, which is weird. You can't really die on this part. Like, if Dracula kills you, Maria will cut you. Maria will girl and Dracula are close. Oh, maybe I'll have a chance. Oh, I beat him. It's a Christmas miracle. It's a cool little photograph effect, I have to say, for PlayStation 1. So this is where the real game starts. I guess that was just a recap to kind of introduce you into what's happening. This is actually one of the few direct sequels. I think the other direct sequel that I can think of was probably Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2 on the NES. And this is actually closer to that kind of game. This is that Metroidvania type of game that kind of takes place in one area and you get an item and you can go further in a different area. It's kind of like that same sort of deal. You play as Alucard from Castlevania 3, Dracula's son, which is obviously Dracula spelled backwards. I know it's kind of cheesy, but Castlevania actually didn't start that. It's actually from some old movie. I forgot which one, so you can look it up if you would like to, if that's your thing. I know I should have been more prepared, but this is actually one of my all-time favorite games. I really don't feel like I have a favorite game, but this is definitely my favorite Castlevania game and one of my all-time favorite games. Probably my favorite game, at least on the PlayStation 1. I played through this many times and I'm debating on doing a playthrough, but that probably won't be until the future or some point, because there's some things that I still want to show you guys, and I want to put some more like retro games and stuff like that, because that Snatcher playthrough was a lot of work, even though it was just playing through the game. But to have to stop and play through a whole game when you want to move on to other games, even though it's a good game, can be kind of difficult. So the game's going to start out with Alucard, and he's going to have all of this stuff, and basically, you'll see. But anyway, Alucard controls really fluid. You can move this up and down to help with the load times, but this game has little rooms in between sections that are kind of like loading rooms, so the game really doesn't load unless you die or load a game. It's all pretty seamless. As you can see, this game animates beautifully, which is really good for a PlayStation game, because a lot of times for especially like ports of like 2D fighters and stuff like that, like the PlayStation wasn't known for its sprite capabilities. It was more of a 3D based system. This music also has probably the best Castlevania soundtrack ever. The only thing I do wish that they would have done, which they did on the Saturn, like, I wouldn't call it a remake. Actually, the PSP version is closer to a remake because they re-recorded the voices. Saturn had a few extra levels, and they were remixes of the older songs, which I wish they did in this, but I'm not complaining. I remember I actually woke up early so I could finish this game before I had to go to school. Now, for a kid to wake up earlier than they had to, it's huge.
There's Death. Probably my favorite design in Death. I think the artwork and the character designs in the game are the best in Castlevania. The one thing about Castlevania that I miss is the old box art of the first 3 Castlevanias. Even the Game Boys had really good artwork for the boxes, but then they kind of went towards this anime route, and I guess this is kind of like a compromise. See, now I don't have anything, and if you look, this kind of looks like the Final Fantasy VII, like I guess character screen. So it's has RPG elements. You level up and you'll have items and stuff like that, all that good stuff. So we're gonna go up. I'll probably get to the first boss and then call it a day. I'll save my game, and then maybe if I do a playthrough later, I'll continue on, because I haven't beaten this game in a while. I might like to go back to it. So here we equipped our first weapon. Nothing fancy, just a short sword. So now I have this.
As you can see, that area is blocked off. You'll later unlock it, and that's kind of where the Metroidvania part comes in. Call it Metroidvania because it's like the Metroid games. Red Rust. It's a more powerful sword, but it's kind of shitty because it's slow and it's still fairly weak. So I think I'm going to keep this one. This is a save point. These always recharge your health and save your game, obviously. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't say game saved. So our first little relic we get is the cube of Zoe. And that makes it so you can get items out of the can. This is what I was talking about, the little load points. It's loading, that's why there's a C thing there. But it makes the game pretty seamless. At one point I was really good at this game. Like, I could beat it really fast. I almost could have done like one of those time run things that they do on YouTube sometimes, but if I have to talk and I haven't played this in a long time, there's no way in hell I can pull it off. I probably look really sloppy playing this, but I got to the point where like I could just get through the level so easy. It almost looked graceful, like ballet, but not anymore. Some people complain when you level up after a while you become too powerful. But somebody like me who really didn't master the NES versions and stuff like that, I think the difficulty's just right. Just like I think Super Castlevania 4 was probably the most balanced game after this one. Though I did get toward the end on the Game Boy second Castlevania. What was that? Belmont's Revenge. There's all hidden stuff like the older Castlevania. Only thing I could nitpick about this, and this is being extremely nitpicky, but I always felt that even though the castle looks really cool, I don't think the environments are like really
in the style and stuff like that. Was that a sword? I was talking, I wasn't even paying attention. Nah, it was not. So we're gonna go up. When I first played this, I was so used to playing other Castlevanias, I was kind of thrown off about how this game worked. But it's fairly linear for the first part, and then you realize, oh, I gotta backtrack and go to these different places. I think the obvious indicator of this game is different is if when you see the HP meter and it says level up. You'll get to a point where like one hit will kill anything almost, and the bosses basically become the only challenge in your way. Dracula is ironically not the hardest enemy in this game. It's a little surprising. These things are so weird. I like how, like, even though the environments aren't the most varied, and I'm not saying like the sections themselves aren't varied, like, because each section of the castle is really different. It's more or less the, once you go to a different section, it's really different, but like, it's basically the same kind of background with like different platforms and stuff like that. And that was like a really, I don't know, it got old after a while. I always try to keep the axe. I think that's the best weapon in the game. So this is the first boss. Or bosses, I should say. But I count it as one, because you gotta beat both of them in order to proceed. It has some cool boss music, and I'm already starting to do terrible. They're actually Super Castlevania. But Order of the Glacier kind of fixed that, but I have no idea where the Castlevania series is going to go after this.
Level up. Now he's gonna turn to this mean guy. Oh, that was close.
But that's what happens when you try to record commentary. So that's the first boss. And here we go. So got festive little skeletons. They want to kill you. You kill them first. These are pretty two quick level ups. There should be a save point around here. There it is. Yes, I would like to write my data. But yeah, Order at Glacier was pretty varied because you start out in woods and stuff. And Portrait of Ruin was kind of varied too. But I like Order at Glacier how you actually had to walk to the castle before you even really got there. There's a lot of blood in this game. But like I said, now a Spanish company I think is making the Castlevania games. I think that's where they're from. It's not the original Japanese people that made the Castlevania games, and the music's totally different, but some people really like it. I don't know. But anyway, that's my video of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. There might be a playthrough in the future. That's why I kind of saved my game just in case. But if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And make sure to check out my channel description area where I have a list of consoles where you can choose a game. And then you can message me either on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. And I'll be more than happy to play that game for you. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thanks again for watching and all your guys' support. Talk to you later. Bye.